Have you ever wondered why some people seem to float through relationships with grace and wisdom, while others continuously struggle with heartbreak and disappointment? Why do some partnerships deepen with time, while others crumble under life's pressures? The answer might lie in an unexpected place: the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Picture this. A young emperor sits alone in his tent on a cold night at the edge of the Roman Empire. Despite commanding the most powerful civilization on earth, Marcus Aurelius writes not of conquest or glory, but of love, connection, and the delicate art of human relationships. His words, penned nearly 2,000 years ago, hold the key to transforming how we love, connect, and grow together in our modern world. Welcome to a journey that will revolutionize how you approach every relationship in your life. Today, we're diving deep into the Stoic art of building unshakable connections, whether with your romantic partner, family members, friends, or even those you find most challenging. Let me share a story that changed my entire perspective on relationships. 2 years ago, I witnessed something extraordinary at a wedding. The couple, Sarah and Michael, had just faced what many would consider a relationship-ending crisis. Their dream home had burned down 2 weeks before their wedding, taking with it everything they built together. But instead of postponing the ceremony or letting tragedy overshadow their joy, they did something remarkable. During their vows, Sarah said something I'll never forget. "Our home burned, but our love was fireproof." Because true love, like true wisdom, isn't found in things we can lose. In that moment, I recognized the essence of Stoic love, a love that transcends circumstances and finds strength in wisdom, rather than mere emotion. This brings us to our first profound insight about relationships through the Stoic lens: the nature of love itself. The Stoics understood something that modern relationship experts are only now beginning to grasp: that true love is not just a feeling, but a practice of wisdom. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of history's greatest philosophers, said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." But he wasn't suggesting we abandon difficult relationships. Instead, he was pointing to a deeper truth about how we approach all our connections. Think about your most challenging relationship right now. Perhaps it's with a parent who doesn't understand your choices, a partner who seems distant, or a friend who's been testing your patience. The Stoic approach doesn't ask you to simply endure these challenges or to walk away. Instead, it offers something far more powerful, a way to transform every relationship through understanding, wisdom, and intentional action. Consider what we typically do when relationships become difficult. We often fall into one of two traps. Either we try to control the other person, attempting to mold them into what we think they should be, or we become passive, letting circumstances and emotions dictate the course of our connections. The Stoics offer a third path, one that begins with a radical shift in how we view relationship challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This might sound pessimistic, but it's actually the foundation of an incredibly optimistic approach to relationships. By acknowledging the potential challenges in any human connection, we free ourselves to love more deeply and connect more authentically. Let me introduce you to what I call the 3 Pillars of Stoic Love, a framework that has transformed countless relationships from sources of stress into fountains of growth and fulfillment. But before we dive into these pillars, we need to understand something crucial about the nature of human connections through the Stoic lens. The first pillar of Stoic love is what I call radical acceptance. This isn't the passive acceptance of staying in harmful situations, but rather the profound understanding that we cannot change others. We can only change our response to them. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more sand slips through your fingers. But cup your hands gently, and the sand remains stable. This is how the Stoics viewed relationships. Let me share the story of David and Lisa, a couple on the brink of divorce. Their relationship had become a battleground of attempted changes, each trying to remake the other into their ideal partner. Through studying Stoic principles, they discovered something transformative. Instead of trying to change each other, they began practicing radical acceptance. David stopped trying to fix Lisa's emotional expressiveness, and Lisa ceased attempting to make David more outgoing. Something magical happened. In the space created by acceptance, both began to change naturally. This leads us to the second pillar, virtuous action. The Stoics believe that love isn't just a feeling, it's a series of chosen actions aligned with our highest values. Think about this. When you say "I love you" to someone, what do you really mean? The Stoics would argue that love is demonstrated not through words or emotions, but through consistent actions that serve the highest good of both parties. Consider Maria, a woman struggling with her teenage son's rebellion. Traditional parenting advice wasn't working, and their relationship was deteriorating. Through applying Stoic principles, she realized something profound. Her love needed to be expressed through virtuous action, regardless of her son's behavior. She began focusing on what she could control: her own responses, her own actions, her own example. Gradually, this shift in approach created space for her son to choose his own path while maintaining their connection. The third pillar is perhaps the most powerful: growth through challenge. The Stoics understood that relationships aren't meant to be sources of constant comfort. They're opportunities for mutual growth and development. Every difficulty, every misunderstanding, every conflict becomes not a threat to the relationship, but an opportunity to practice wisdom and strengthen connection. Think of James, who discovered his partner had been keeping financial secrets. Traditional wisdom might have seen this as a betrayal, requiring either immediate forgiveness or separation. The Stoic approach offered a different path. James saw this challenge as an opportunity for both partners to grow, to develop deeper honesty, to understand the fears driving their behaviors, and to build stronger trust through adversity. But understanding these pillars is just the beginning. The real magic happens when we apply them to specific relationship challenges. Let me share with you what I call the Stoic relationship practice. A practical framework for transforming any relationship challenge into an opportunity for growth. Imagine you're in a heated argument with someone you love. Your emotions are firing, your heart is racing, and you feel that overwhelming urge to either fight back or run away. This is where the Stoic practice becomes transformative. Instead of reacting from emotion, you pause and ask yourself 3 crucial questions. What virtues can I practice in this moment? What would love counseled by wisdom do? And how can this challenge serve our mutual growth? Let's explore how this works in real relationships. Consider the story of Anna, a successful executive who was struggling with her aging parents' increasing demands on her time. She felt torn between duty and resentment, between caring for them and maintaining her own life. Through applying Stoic principles, she discovered a way to transform this challenge into an opportunity for profound connection. Anna's story reveals a crucial truth about applying Stoic wisdom to relationships. Instead of seeing her parents' needs as a burden, she began viewing them through what I call the lens of legacy. She asked herself, what story do I want to tell about these moments in the future? This shift in perspective transformed her relationship with her parents from a source of stress into an opportunity for creating meaningful memories and practicing profound love. But what about when relationships become truly challenging? This is where we need to explore the Stoic art of conflict resolution. The Stoics understood something profound about conflict, that it's not the disagreement itself that causes pain, but our interpretation of what that disagreement means. Let me share a powerful technique I call the Stoic dialogue framework. Imagine you're in a heated argument with your partner. Instead of focusing on winning the argument, the Stoic approach invites you to ask 3 powerful questions. What is this person trying to protect? What virtue can I practice in this moment? And how can this conflict serve our growth? Consider Thomas and Rachel, a couple whose different approaches to money were creating constant tension. Traditional relationship advice might have focused on budgeting techniques or compromise. But through the Stoic approach, they discovered something deeper. Using the dialogue framework, they realized their conflicts about money weren't really about dollars and cents. They were about security, freedom, and different ways of showing love. This brings us to one of the most powerful Stoic relationship practices, the perspective shift. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." When applied to relationships, this insight becomes transformative. Let me introduce you to what I call the 3 levels of listening. The first level is listening to words, what most of us do most of the time. The second level is listening to emotions, understanding the feelings behind the words. But the third level, what the Stoics practiced, is listening to wisdom, hearing the universal human experience beneath both words and emotions. Consider Sarah, who was struggling with her best friend's seemingly constant life crises. Every week brought a new drama, a new emergency, a new demand for emotional support. Sarah was exhausted and resentful, but applying the 3 levels of listening transformed their relationship. Instead of just hearing her friend's problems, or even just empathizing with her emotions, Sarah began listening for the wisdom, the universal human experience of seeking connection, validation, and understanding. This leads us to what I call the Stoic response pyramid, a powerful framework for handling any relationship challenge. At the base of the pyramid is understanding, in the middle is wisdom, and at the top is virtuous action. But the real power lies in how we move through these levels. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. Michael, a father struggling with his daughter's life choices, was at his wit's end. Every conversation became an argument, every interaction a source of pain. Through applying the response pyramid, he discovered a way to transform their relationship entirely. His journey teaches us something profound about love and acceptance. The Stoics understood that true love isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about creating space for growth while maintaining our own center of wisdom. This brings us to what I consider the most advanced Stoic relationship practice, the art of loving detachment. The art of loving detachment isn't about becoming cold or distant, quite the opposite. It's about loving so deeply and wisely that we can hold space for both connection and freedom. This is what Epictetus meant when he said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Let me share the story of Elena, who transformed her relationship with her adult son through practicing loving detachment. Her son was making life choices she strongly disagreed with, and their relationship had become strained with judgment and disappointment. Through studying Stoic wisdom, Elena discovered that true love means supporting growth while releasing the need to control outcomes. This brings us to what I call the 4 freedoms of Stoic love. The freedom to be authentic, the freedom to grow, the freedom to make mistakes, and the freedom to choose our response to any situation. These freedoms form the foundation of truly meaningful relationships. Consider the transformation in Jack and Maria's marriage when they began practicing these freedoms. Instead of trying to protect each other from pain or prevent mistakes, they created space for individual growth while maintaining their connection. Their relationship became not a source of limitation, but a platform for mutual development. But how do we maintain these practices in the heat of real relationship challenges? This is where the daily Stoic relationship practice becomes essential. Each morning, take a moment to contemplate 3 questions. How can I practice wisdom in my relationships today? What opportunities for growth might arise? And how can I serve the highest good of those I love? The power of this practice lies not in the questions themselves, but in how they shape our approach to every interaction. When Linda began this practice, she noticed a profound shift in her relationships with colleagues, family, and friends. Small irritations that once would have triggered reactions became opportunities for practice. Challenging personalities became teachers of patience and understanding. This brings us to our final and most powerful concept, the Stoic love legacy. Every interaction, every response, every moment of connection or conflict is contributing to the story of our relationships. The Stoics understood that we're not just building connections, we're creating legacies that ripple through generations. Think about the relationships that have shaped your life. The wisdom or wounds passed down through your family, the friendships that transformed your perspective, the love that changed who you are. Through the Stoic approach to relationships, we have the opportunity to consciously shape the legacies we leave. As we conclude our exploration of Stoic relationship wisdom, remember this: every relationship in your life is an opportunity to practice wisdom, demonstrate love, and contribute to the greater good. The challenges you face in relationships aren't obstacles to happiness. They're opportunities for growth and deepening connection. Remember Sarah and Michael from our opening story? Their decision to face life's challenges with Stoic wisdom didn't just save their wedding day, it transformed their entire approach to love and partnership. Today, they teach other couples how to build relationships based on wisdom rather than just emotion. As you leave this session, I invite you to consider, what legacy do you want to create in your relationships? How can you bring more wisdom to your connections? What story do you want to tell about the love you've shared and the wisdom you've practiced? The path of Stoic relationship wisdom isn't always easy, but it leads to something remarkable. Connections that grow stronger through challenge, love that deepens with time, and a legacy of wisdom that touches lives far beyond our own. As the sun sets on our exploration of Stoic relationship wisdom, we stand at a powerful threshold. Like an ancient traveler reaching a mountain peak only to discover even more magnificent heights ahead, our journey into the art of meaningful connections is just beginning. Throughout this episode, we've uncovered timeless truths that have the power to transform every relationship in your life. We've learned how Marcus Aurelius maintained deep human connections while ruling an empire, how Epictetus found freedom in the way he approached relationships, and how these ancient insights can revolutionize our modern connections. But this is just one chapter in our greater journey towards Stoic wisdom. If you're new to our Stoic Victory series, I invite you to begin at the foundation. Our first episodes in the Foundations of Stoicism playlist will guide you through the essential principles that make everything we've discussed today even more powerful. From understanding the dichotomy of control to mastering your emotional responses, Each episode builds upon the last, creating a comprehensive framework for personal transformation. And for those ready to venture deeper, our path ahead is filled with extraordinary discoveries. In our next episode, we'll explore the Stoic Guide to Inner Peace, where we'll uncover how ancient warriors maintain tranquility even in life's most challenging moments. We'll learn practical techniques for building unshakable calm while staying fully engaged with life's adventures. Beyond that, we'll journey into advanced Stoic practices that few have mastered. From the art of philosophical journaling to the power of strategic discomfort. Each episode brings you closer to what Seneca called the good life, a life of purpose, wisdom, and profound human connection. Remember, Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a path to transformation. By subscribing to our channel, you're not just following content. You're joining a community of modern practitioners who are applying these timeless principles to create extraordinary lives and relationships. If the wisdom we've shared today has touched your heart or illuminated your path, help us spread these transformative insights. Share this video with someone whose relationship journey might benefit from these powerful tools. Like and subscribe to join us on this continuing adventure into practical wisdom. As Epictetus said, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. By being here, engaging with these ideas, you're already part of a community dedicated to growth, wisdom, and meaningful connection. Until our paths cross again in the next episode, remember, every relationship in your life is an opportunity to practice wisdom, demonstrate love, and contribute to the greater good. The journey of the Stoic warrior continues, and your next step awaits. How will you begin applying these principles in your relationships today? Share your insights and experiences in the comments below, and let's continue this exploration together.